finish. All right. So thank you everybody for being here. We appreciate it. Again, this is going to be a little bit of an information night around our 4-credit one-on-one and group classes here at AJ Tutoring. Just jumping in, my name is Patrick Hennis. I am a Senior Regional Director here in the North Peninsula. In AJ Tutoring terms, that really is a lot of San Mateo, Burlingame, the East Bay. All of our online practice falls under that division as well. And I also head up and oversee all of our 4-credit one-on-one work here at AJ Tutoring, which has been a very exciting aspect of our support of students. Just to kind of jump in, again, we're going to be talking a lot today, or exclusively today, about one-on-one 4-credit and group classes that we offer. First and foremost, how do we do this? Well, we partner with a brick and mortar school down in Southern California called High Bluff Academy. High Bluff Academy is out of kind of North County, San Diego. The best way to describe High Bluff, it's something comparable to in the peninsula, like a Lydian Academy or a school for independent learners. Another common school that you hear a lot of throughout is Fusion Academy. These are all comparable to what High Bluff Academy does. They, again, specialize in smaller group or one-on-one high school support and curriculum. We'll talk a little bit later about who might be a good fit for these types of one-on-one classes. But again, we offer classes through this partnership. So High Bluff Academy, through their accreditation, we partner with them. We provide our own teachers. A lot of the students are coming through us through our already existing work with them, through our tutoring and test preparation that we do. And again, that's the partnership, is the transcripts and everything through High Bluff. All the classes that we offer are WASC-approved. So one of the questions that parents have right away is, do these classes count for college? And the answer is absolutely yes. These are all WASC-approved. These are UC, A through G approved, and they are, again, approved at all disciplines and at all levels. These courses, as I mentioned, fulfill A through G requirements for high school graduation and college admissions and are always tailored to meet your students' needs. Again, I think one of the biggest benefits, especially with the one-on-one support that we do, which is, to be honest, most of the 4-credit work that we do is at that one-on-one level. Just like tutoring, we're really able to tailor the instruction and tailor the teaching to each of our students and their learning styles and needs. Again, these are all customized and fully customized to meet your students' unique educational needs. And I think one of the coolest things about the High Bluff and 4-credit work that we do is it's a mastery-based learning program. It moves at the student's pace. We're not rushing the student through the pace. We're working at their own comfortable pace, making sure they understand. And that's important to identify before proceeding to the next segment of the course. More specifically, we will not move on, and the students cannot move on to the next unit here until they have received at least a B in the current unit. I'm proud to say that all of our students do very, very well. Mainly because, again, with the one-on-one support, it's really tailored to their instruction. They're really getting that support that really, again, is very specific to their learning styles, and we can work at their pace. And if for any reason a student, is struggling with a unit and maybe gets a C on the unit test, we will go back and review that in more detail and really understand and work with the student to figure out where they are still struggling, do more review in that sense. And do another assessment and make sure that they have at least a B before moving on to that next unit. So again, it's a mastery-based approach. We really ensure that students are understanding and learning everything about the important course curriculum before moving on to that next chapter in the course. Who teaches these courses? Simply put, it's some of our premier educators here at AJ Tutoring. These are folks who, to be qualified to teach these classes, they either have to major or minor in their undergraduate or graduate work in their respective courses, and or have actually taught these subjects in the classroom prior to joining AJ Tutoring. So when you take a course through AJ and High Bluff Academy, you are actually getting the very best that we have. These are our premier educators. These are some of our most senior and experienced educators. They are really not only teaching the class, but they are often actually supporting and teaching other and mentoring other tutors and educators here in those areas of their expertise. Again, this includes our most senior educators and leaders here. Who are great candidates for taking for-credit classes with AJ Tutoring and High Bluff? This is it's a mixed bag. Honestly, right now, what we're seeing as we near the summer is a lot of students wanting to take advantage of the lighter summer load that they may have and or use the summer to jump a lane. A good example, let's say your student is in Algebra 2 this year. They want to take Calculus A/B next year, but of course, in between those two courses is the prerequisite pre-calculus. Well, they can actually work and take the pre-calculus course with us over the summer and actually, achieve that prerequisite and work with the school to be able to enter into that calculus class next year. So that's a big one, particularly right now as students who want to kind of jump up a lane, advance to that higher lane in math or in science or whatever in foreign languages. One of the biggest things that we see is a big demand in Spanish, French, even more so sometimes in our for-credit work than we actually do with our regular tutoring, mainly because I think sometimes students really struggle in the classroom in that foreign language aspect, and that one-on-one approach really caters to their needs. Another example is maybe a student took this actual class in the classroom previously and didn't really get a good grade or struggle. They can actually recover course credit and retake that class with us from a previous attempt at the class. Students who may benefit from a one-on-one or a small group teaching environment due to non-standard schedules, learning differences, or other needs. Again, sometimes students who maybe have struggled historically in their math class or in their science class or in their English class, and the regular traditional classroom setting for them in that subject just isn't working. The one-on-one work is a great way to approach it. Another is students just want to kind of get a lot of work done quickly. Students who are trying to finish a full semester of coursework over the summer or more quickly than a standard school semester. Another beautiful thing about the for-credit work that we do is we can do it as quickly as possible, of course, within the educational constraints and realistic timelines, or we can spread it out over a full year. So there's a lot of malleability when it comes to how quickly or how long we could take to complete these classes. Last but not least, there might be students who have impacted availability based on sports or unfortunately are dealing with some possible health challenges. Again, that one-on-one, the one-on-one classes that we offer can often be great opportunities for those students in that as well. When can a student start? There really is no stop and start time. Admission here is rolling. Students can start anytime. As I mentioned already, summer in particular is a very popular time for students to take advantage of the slower time and or use to complete a prerequisite for a more challenging class at their school. Again, why are these one-on-one classes so important? Well, as you may or may not know or have seen, the standardized testing aspect of things has changed pretty dramatically since the pandemic of 2020. Prior to that, almost all schools were requiring the SAT or ACTs. During the pandemic, that diminished pretty quickly based on availability for these tests. And then a lot of schools remained, either test blind or test optional over the past few years. Although I would make a comment that we're starting to see more and more of the selective schools like the Ivies and other schools go back to requiring these exams. But there still are a good number of schools that are either test blind or test optional. Again, the UCs and the CSUs right now, you can't actually even turn in your SAT or ACT scores even if you wanted to. So in these types of schools in particular, course rigor has become that much more important. These admissions officers really want to see students performing at a high level and really challenging themselves as much as possible during their school. You want to get a good grade, but you also want to take challenging classes to show that you're, serious about your education and you want to be challenged and work hard in those classes. So again, when we've seen some of these testing requirements be diminished, that puts that much more of an emphasis and a spotlight on the GPA and the transcript and things of that nature. So universities will carefully examine a student's entire curriculum over their high school career, and they're going to look for trends. Again, they're going to look for the number of challenging courses that a student's gone up or down or stayed the same. A robust course can lead your application to stand out in the admissions process. Which classes, again, obviously, we don't necessarily recommend students take a million one-on-one courses and overwhelm themselves, but maybe focusing on areas that they are really passionate in. Which classes do your student love and which subjects do they come naturally to them? I think it's important to consider their natural strengths and challenges as well as their interests and trajectory. So again, in wrapping that up, course rigor is very important, sometimes often even more important now than ever before. So it's important that students are challenging themselves, and these one-on-one classes are great ways to do that. Intake, how does it work here at AJ? Let's say, hey, I have a student who is interested in participating and wants to do some of these one-on-one classes or participate here. How do I go about that? Well, you would certainly reach out to us, and the first thing we would do is connect you with our director of client services who heads up our intake process. During that conversation, we want to find out all about your students' needs, the logistics of the course, see if it's something that we can be of help with, whether it be, do we have the prerequisites already? Is this going to work with their schedule? Explaining a little bit more about, of course, cost, required hours, things of that nature. After that conversation, we work with the parents to reach out to their local school counselors to confirm that the school that they are attending currently will accept the transcript from High Bluff Academy. Only if the conversation is needed. Oftentimes, the conversation is only needed if that class is to fulfill a graduation requirement at the school or remediation, i.e., retaking a class because, again, you didn't get a good grade the first time. So we work with you to connect you with the school counselor that your student goes to. The school counselor lets us know or lets you know that they have approved that. And then, of course, once that's done, we connect you with a great educator here. We get you all arranged, either meeting virtually or in an office close to your home. And then we send you that invoice of the class tuition and connect you with that class instructor who would then reach out to you directly to begin the scheduling process. You would work directly with a class instructor to schedule directly, to check in on how things are going. One of the things that hopefully you all see already when our work with your students already is that we really pride ourselves on parent communication, proactive parent communication. We want to make sure that you are all involved and understand what is going on with your students on a day-to-day basis, with the class. One note about the tuition. Again, we do ask that the entire class is paid up front. Unlike our one-on-one academic tutoring or one-on-one test preparation where we bill hourly, this is simply an upfront cost, a lump sum that you pay upfront. And that lump sum depends often on the class and how many hours that class will take. The more rigorous and advanced classes, the more hours are required. The less advanced and less rigorous, the fewer hours are required. So it's honestly going to be anywhere between like a 50-hour class and an 80-hour class, depending again on that rigor of the class. But we would, invoice you. You would pay for the class up front. And then we would work with your student through that expected amount of hours. If the student decides to discontinue the class for any reason, let's say you're doing an 80-hour class and the student decides after the first 5 or 6 hours, you know what, this is not a good fit for me. I don't think I want to pursue this. No problem. We would simply refund you whatever balance remained based on a kind of an hourly basis that we worked from that initial sum. In terms of schools, in most cases, local schools have approved and assimilated the coursework into the existing school transcript, meaning a lot of schools you can actually take the class through AJ and High Bluff and have that actual grade and class actually applied to the official school transcript. So you don't actually have separate transcripts here. It's still one transcript. If there's a school that is not approved, which does happen on occasion, the coursework can still be completed. You would just simply have a separate transcript. So you would have most of your classes on the high school transcript, and then you would have a separate High Bluff transcript. But again, that is only in the unique cases where the school may not approve that outside coursework. Again, this is truly a school by school and student by student basis. and we're happy to discuss further when we talk in detail about your student. Going back to course rigor, I wanted to really highlight, another really exciting thing that ones can do here is students can take advanced AP classes with us, and again, have that AP class as part of the transcript. I included just a handful of classes here. We do more APs than this, but specifically, these are APs that you may not see at your local high schools, but we are able to work with students and actually complete coursework in these areas, whether it be AP Art History, AP Psychology, Human Geography. African American Studies is one of the newer AP classes, and we're excited to offer that for the first time next fall. Macro and Microeconomics, AP Comparative Government, et cetera, et cetera. More importantly, here is the expansive and exhaustive list of what we are working on with students. So again, your humanities, you got your English, your foreign languages, your histories, government, econ, math, everything from Algebra 1 all the way to multivariable calculus and linear algebra. So another example is maybe your student's very advanced and taking Calc BC as a junior, and they're running out of kind of classes to take. They can take some more advanced classes with us their senior year and have that be part of the transcript too. Again, you've got your sciences, bio, physics, chem, environmental science, and then of course, all the litany of different AP classes that we currently are working with students on. One last thing here is lab classes. Again, as part of our lab science classes, we also provide students the opportunity to complete these essential and important labs in our offices. These include physics, chemistry, biology labs, etc. Again, even with the one-on-one coursework, students are able to get real-time and hands-on experience. So in a number of our different offices, we have a chemistry lab, we have the physics labs, we have the biology labs. So if your student is taking a lab science class with us, they can actually jump in and actually take that class or do the lab with us in one of our offices, which is pretty cool. I'm going to pivot here quickly to just something else that I wanted to briefly mention here, which is, let's see here, which is the Cypress College Prep that we offer. So we've talked already about our High Bluff Academy and our one-on-one work. This is for unique classes. This is for a student who's taking most of their schoolwork at their local high schools but wants to take a class over again or a more challenging class, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe you have a student who is maybe looking to just change high schools altogether. Maybe it's not a good fit at their local high school. Maybe they could really benefit more from a smaller or one-on-one group environment. This is where Cypress College Preparatory, which is also under the AJ Tutoring umbrella, could be a potential aspect. Again, this is for full-time middle school and high school students. Again, we have passionate educators. Again, this is all one-on-one small group instructions. Again, college support, college counseling, weekly mentoring. This is a full-time school for students to come and finish and really actually take everything through Cypress College Prep. Again, our mission here is to commit and to provide a small and flexible learning community that will holistically develop our students' academic, social, and emotional skills to really ensure high school and college success. Again, we've been open here for a couple of years, and it's been really great. Again, you can see the story here. AJ Tutoring started about 2003 or 2005. Aaron and Joe started tutoring in 2003. We launched our High Bluff Academy about 5 years ago, 2019, for credit launch. And then Cypress College Prep actually began a couple of years ago, September of 2022. So we're finishing up our second full academic year with a number of different students. Again, these are all the different courses that they can offer through that full service college preparatory and Cypress College Prep. Again, students who maybe have learning differences, students who are looking for accelerated options, students who maybe have 504s or other mental health or physical needs. A homeschool transition is often something that we see from our students here. Learning loss, making up course improving grades. inclusive environments. These are, again, small, safe, supportive of all backgrounds. We really promote an inclusive environment and really make sure that we are attending to our students and their mental health and happiness there. And then, of course, you could see, these are obviously for all of school, small groups 35, one-on-one 45. There's some scholarships that can definitely be involved as well. So that is the Cypress College preparatory. So I'm going to stop recording and I'm going to open it up to some questions.